Welcome to another edition of Confidently Speaking with DOC. I am your host, David Doc Shirey, author of the book Rare Confidence, Strategies and Inspiration to Strengthen Your Belief that you can achieve anything. Episode number 28 on tap tonight. We got another one of my favorite people in the house, Brendan Bagin, personal trainer extraordinaire. Those of us who know him and love him affectionately call him Bags. Before we get to Bags, just a reminder to comment, ask questions. If ever there was a show to ask questions, you want to ask Bags your fitness questions, throw them up. I'll get as many of them on the air as time permits. And if you could share the program, share the video, I'd really appreciate that. That would help the reach get bigger. And I'll buy you a beer next time I see it if you do that. So without any further ado, let's meet Bags.
When it comes to selecting a personal trainer, it's important to know that they each have different styles and philosophies. Brendan Bagin subscribes to adopt fitness as a lifestyle. It's something he's committed to. He doesn't measure body fat. He doesn't track workouts. He lets clients know that they'll know if they've lost weight by how their pants fit. And they'll know they're getting stronger when everyday physical challenges become easier and easier. Brendan's style is very upbeat and motivational. He's dedicated to teaching good form, aside from how many sets you can complete and how much weight you can lift. He places an emphasis on core training. He believes a strong core is vital to injury prevention. Brendan uses all the equipment the gym has to offer. He incorporates body weight exercises and exercises that have a balance element. Brendan is certified by the International Fitness Professional Association. I am pleased to welcome Brendan Bagin to the program.
What's up, Bags?
What up, DOC?
My man, Bags, man. It's been a while, Bags. I can't thank you enough for coming on the show tonight, Bags. You know, when I thought about what kind of show to have this week, as I went to the refrigerator last night at midnight for about the 190th day in a row, it felt like, I knew that I wasn't alone, that there's a lot of other folks out there that have been in various stages of lockdowns, and I just felt like it was time to turn our attention to getting fit again, not just in the Shirey household, but as a nation, and that's why I thought it'd be great to have you on, Bags. But before we get into any of that, I want to give our viewers a sense of how you and I know each other and, you know, what our relationship has been. You know, we go way back. I remember when I think I was 16 years old. You were 13. I coached a pony league team that you were on. And I'll tell you, anybody who knows Bags, my man will run. If I asked you as your coach, Bags, run through that brick wall, you would have run through that brick wall for me. And that's the kind of attitude you bring to your personal fitness training business and you bring to life. And you were the hardest working baseball player. And on the hoop court, you know, you and I back in the day, man, we hooped with each other. We hooped against each other. We had some great battles. And, you know, I said this with a wink. I don't think anybody would have accused you of being Carmelo Anthony on the offensive end of the ball. But I tell you what, you did not want Bags guarding you because it was like white on rice up in your grill. You couldn't get away. And, you know, Bags, I absolutely love that about you. And trust me when I tell you, that is your reputation. People know that about you, kid.
Thank you. I know. It was a
I
great
know
way. We had a great youth, great times.
We sure did. So, you know, Bags, when I was looking to take my fitness to another level a few years ago, mid-age, I became a little bit of like skinny fat. I was never a big fat dude. I really said, who should I go to? And everything pointed to you. So I come to see you, Bags, and you're like, Doc, if you want to do this, we're going to do this, but we're going to do this right. And I knew that you were no nonsense, but I knew that if I put the work in, that the results would come. And boy, did they ever, Bags. You know, I was never a guy. I mean, I used to love to hoop. I always felt like I was athletic, you know, neighborhood kid, athletic. But I was never a lifter or like a fitness buff or an exercise buff. in 100 sessions, Beggs. You and I spent 100 sessions together. And quite frankly, my man, you got me in the best shape of my life.
Wow.
And I guess my first question to you is, maybe you could share with our audience, how did you get DOC in the best shape of his life?
Oh, that's a great question. Doc, it was easy because you came in. It's all, and this is for everybody. It's not me. I'm only as good as the client, and that's the way it is for every trainer. So you were motivated. You came in with wanting to work, wanting to achieve. And if I could start with that, if everybody starts with that, well then like I told you, Doc, we're going to do this right. And I told you there's two things for ultimate success, and it transfers to every part of life, and that's being consistent. First and foremost, don't miss. Doc, how many sessions did you miss? We did 100 sessions. I don't think you missed one session. Maybe one, something happened, like an accident.
No, you missed the session. I
missed the session. Now that's even rare.
Right.
But the other part is the effort. If you put in effort consistently, it doesn't matter. Everybody has bad days, but if you get back on that horse and you continue to challenge yourself and be consistent, you will always have success. Always have success.
Beggs, I had a great time training with you because I almost felt like, you have to have a great relationship with your trainer, and I feel like almost like with your barber. Well, I don't know if you have a barber, but you know what I'm saying? You really, you get to this point where you're talking about life and not just about exercise. But I remember, Beggs, that first session we had, I was in the car on the way home. I thought I had to pull over and throw up. I was so close to throwing up, and I'm like, I don't know if I can come back here again. I really didn't know that I could come back because you had me just ready to. And the last thing I'll say about that first session, Beggs, was you had me on the lat pull down machine, right? I'm on there. I had never done this before, and I'm screaming, ah, ah! And you come up and you whisper to me, you're like, Doc, knock it off. Only clowns scream at the gym. Nobody wants to hear that nonsense from you. And I was like, I thought you were supposed to do that, Beggs. Right. And the funny thing was, for the next 99 sessions, you'd be like, Doc, one more rep, man, one more set. And I'd give like a grunt, woo, and I'd be like, oh, man, I'm sorry. You're like, no, that's all right.
That's legit. That's legit. The last 2 reps, you can do it, Doc. You can't start screaming on the very first rep.
I know. All right, so Beggs, let's get into it. My first question for you, Beggs, is about this pandemic that we're going through. And, throughout this entire pandemic, I have felt like there needs to be more of an emphasis as a nation on us getting healthy. It's clear that obesity significantly raises the risk factor of dying from COVID. Why do you think that's not talked about more, Beggs?
Oh God, Doc, because everybody knows it's a problem. It's a problem. Overweight, obesity in America. What is the stats? 3 of 4? Is it 67% now? COVID now is just makes it worse. That's another thing we have to worry about. But COVID, I mean, even if COVID wasn't around, it's a huge issue that isn't discussed. It's great for me. It's great for my business. I got a great pipeline of people. Everybody needs help. And I don't know why it's not talked about. I don't know why it's not talked about more.
Well, let's put obesity to the side, but just weight gain in general. So many Americans have experienced some level of weight gain during the last 7 months, Beggs, some much more than others. A lot of people went from living these full and active lives. Now they're working from home. They're socializing less. They're spending hours and hours in front of the TV. And I feel like eating is a form of entertainment, like a temporary boredom killer. Is that the way you see it, Beggs?
That's how it works, Doc. It's you're sitting and eating. The worst thing you could do is sit, and then you're compounding the issue by mindlessly eating. It's not healthy stuff generally. Normally it's going to be something salty and sweet, and those things are no nutrition in them. That's all you're doing. With every bite, you're just adding to your compounding a problem that maybe started small, but now that you can't, not as active, and not surprising that people are gaining weight during this time. Not surprising.
Beggs, I remember after our first session, you said to me, "Now, Doc, because I think I was coming to see you twice a week,
Yeah.
and it was like 3 or 4 days between each session." You're like, "Doc, don't just sit at home and do nothing." And you know how much football and I watch, and you were like, "Listen, get down, do push-ups." And I mean, you'd be proud of me, Beggs. Back then, I don't think I could do 10 straight push-ups, and I do 150 push-ups a day now, man. So,
Doc, I remember. No, Doc, I told you that the first. I said, Doc, you start with your push-ups, right?
Yeah.
Start them in the morning, and then you won't believe how quickly you'll go from 10 to 20 to 30, and you did it. I mean, I knew you'd put in the work. I just had to remind you.
No doubt. We're going to get the push-ups in a little bit. Beggs,
Okay.
if somebody is looking to get back in shape and they make that decision for themselves that it's something I want to do, what is the first step? I guess the first step is deciding. What's the next thing somebody should do?
Well, so Doc, it all depends. Everybody's situation's different. I'm a trainer. I would say, if you have the means, and it's not for everybody, but if you have the time, if you have the means, the investment in a personal trainer will pay off. And as you know yourself, it just makes things easier, smarter, more efficient. But the first thing you want to do is just, I suggest this to everybody, is just you got to get in the habit of putting the time in. So starting with a half an hour walk a day, walk for a half an hour and make sure you put that time in. Exit out of your schedule. Then it becomes longer. Then it becomes 2 walks. Then it becomes, so it's a building block. But consistency is going to be the key, Doc. The first thing you should do is X that time out of your schedule. It's devoted to you. Don't let anybody interfere in your time. You got to be, don't let things interfere. Block that time out. That's for you. You spend your whole life worrying about other people, helping other people, and you owe it to yourself to invest that time in yourself, and it will pay off. If you consistently do it, it's gonna pay off.
All right. So the question that is as old as time, Beggs, which is more important? Exercise, physical activity, or your diet?
So, Doc, both are of equal importance. If you want to lose weight, diet's going to be more important. Okay. But also, you don't understand that by getting stronger, your body works harder. The more muscle you carry, the body process, you will burn more calories carrying around muscle than you will fat. So just by toning up, you're working harder, even if you're not in the gym, just by having more muscle on your body. So exercise helps build strength, and that in turn will help you trim down. But if you're just worried about losing weight, then your diet is going to be the key in the long run. Your diet's the key. Your diet is the key.
So I remember the conversation you and I had, but share with everybody else, when you see a new client, how do you help them structure their nutrition plan?
So, nutrition's such it's very difficult, Doc, because anything that I tell you, somebody else can tell you. Look how many fads there are. The thing about eating, what I like to start with is this. The very worst thing you can have is sugar. And sugar comes in many forms. People think about it as white granulated stuff, and that is the worst stuff. But white bread, and they just had, I don't know if you saw that in Ireland, the Subway sandwich is not considered a sandwich because the bread has so much sugar in it, it's not considered bread. So look what you're eating, and you think you're healthy. People think Subway, oh, that's healthy, but it's actually not that healthy if you get the white bread. Now, if you get a whole wheat bread, now you're changing it. So my first suggestion for everybody is eliminate the sugar, eliminate the simple carbs. And the second thing is portion control. These are things everybody knows about these things, but they work if if you give up sugar, if you go to complex carbs, if you watch the how much you're eating. Those are the way I would start. This is but if you want a specific answer, I don't give a lot of dietary advice. What I like to start with is a food journal, and I would have the client write down everything that they've eaten or drank in the last 7 days. And then I go over each day with them and say, look what you had for breakfast in the morning. Frosted Flakes. You can do better than that. There's a better choice. And that's what diet is. Diet is making a better choice. So Frosted Flakes, change that to oatmeal. Okay. Your orange juice, have an orange, have an actual orange. You can improve upon, make a better decision. That's how it is.
What should somebody eat before and then immediately after a workout?
So before the workout, Doc, you want to have here's a time, if you're going to have sugar right before the workout, might be a good time to have it. Okay. Because it's sugar burns fast and you need fuel right away. So you don't want to go with the slow burning fuel. You'd rather have a fast burning fuel. And for that, I like fruit. I think a banana is always going to be a good choice. Any fruit would be a good pre-workout. You can also have a protein shakes, and protein shakes are extremely helpful in controlling a diet. They give you time because they satiate you. But when you're working out, that protein, it's in a liquid form, which I like that. So you're rehydrating while prior to your workout. Most of them have a little bit of sugar in them, whether it's artificial or something else that you can burn. And then you're getting a little bit of carbohydrates and protein. And protein, of course, is always good for you. And people worry, I'm getting too much protein. Most people don't get enough protein. Most people are not getting enough protein. And so that pre-workout, when you're talking about after workout, now there's a small window. You want to get you actually want to complete your workout with protein. And so a protein shake again would be very good, though. I know you, Doc, after our workouts, you love to hit that Chipotle, and you would get that. What did you get, Doc? The black bean?
Yeah, I was going to mention that. We after about 4 or 5 sessions that I had with you, I felt guilty, and I said to you, I said, Beggs, I have a secret to confess. I would leave here, I'd go right to Chipotle, and I'd get this burrito with double chicken and brown rice. And you said to me, you gave me the license. You said, Doc, your body's craving that right now. And I just got so excited when you told me that because I couldn't wait to get to that Chipotle afterward.
You made a great choice. And that's and see, Doc, this is what I'm talking about. Living fitness. It's a lifestyle. Everything kind of just builds on it. You wanted something healthy. Your body was craving that. You went for it. So, first you had something healthy before you came to workout. You had a great workout, and then you went and ate something healthy after. And then hopefully you went home and you got a good night's sleep and you rehydrated yourself. And these is just a chain of events of living a healthy lifestyle. That's what it's all about. That's what it's.
And I always felt like, Beggs, the harder you worked, the less you wanted to screw it up.
There you go.
You don't want to just throw it away.
You exactly. You just, why would you go out and go to McDonald's and eat a bunch of garbage and Doc, that's the beauty of fitness. It's just one thing, a building block. And if you're always in the game, listen, eat healthy 90% of the time, 10% of the time, please enjoy yourself. And I would tell you that too, right, Doc? Go ahead and you can have whatever you like, your cheese, French fries. Right? I don't know.
Well,
just look for your whole.
I would love it when I would see you out and we'd have wings together, and I'm like, "What's wrong with this picture?"
There you go. I will eat wings. I eat whatever I want, but only 10% of the time.
Beggs, a lot of the questions that I'm asking you, I already know your answers to, but it's for the benefit of our viewers. So this next question is, give us your thoughts on supplements. There's so many different kinds of supplements out there. I know you gave me your stamp of approval on the protein shakes that I would have in my car immediately after, but you weren't really a huge fan of all the other stuff. Talk about that a little bit.
Well, so Doc, the one thing that I see, and I like it because again, it's the supplements are keeping you in the game. Okay. You're thinking about trying to be healthy. You want to, and Doc, for you, you wanted that extra edge. You wanted to, what Beggs, what can I add? What can I do? And I love that mindset. But for one thing, my biggest problem with the supplements is the fact that they are not regulated. So it's a big problem for me, Doc, that, it's not by the FDA. It's just anybody can create a product and put it on the market as a supplement. We really don't know what's in there or what good it is. Okay. Now I do, there's a couple of things that I do like. Of course, I like protein a lot, and not just whey proteins. There's several different types of proteins. There's a protein for everybody, and I strongly encourage that use. I also don't mind some of the pre-workout drinks, but you need to be aware that they can become addictive. They're generally a lot of caffeine, and I like caffeine as a stimulant. So do you have to have an NO2 explode? You can have a cup of coffee. These things, I just think they're overutilized and overvalued. A healthy diet is going to be better for you than any vitamin or pill you're going to put in there. So it's all part of the game. And I think, it also depends on what level of athlete you are. These bodybuilders get sponsored by the supplement companies, and they use and they swear by them. And, is it a real endorsement? It's just, I just think there's too much of a gray area around it, again, related to the FDA, and nobody really needs the supplements, but if it makes you feel good and it keeps you in the game, I'm for that. I'm for that.
You know how I am, Beggs. When I do something, I'm all in or I'm all out. So when I started with you, I wanted it all. I wanted a protein shake. I wanted this. I remember I went to GNC and I got some pre-workout supplements. Man, I took that one time I came to you. I thought I was going to go into cardiac arrest. Man, my heart was jumping out of my skin. I'm like, I don't like this at all.
Yeah. I said, right. You don't, your dosage is, there's so many things. It can just mess you up. For the most part, you're just going to pee it out for the most part. So none of them, I don't think they're really dangerous, but some of them are dangerous. Some of them are dangerous.
Now, Beggs, one of the things that I loved about your style of being a personal trainer and as the way you coached me was the fact that you don't measure body fat. You don't track workouts from one workout to the next. And I imagine that's kind of against the industry norms. Share with our viewers a little bit about your thought process and about your philosophy, why you don't do those things.
Doc, you're right. You're right. Most trainers, and especially the young people coming up today, are they're into that. And part of it, our whole society has become this facts and figures and tracking, the risk trackers. And what I found, and when you get certified as a trainer, all you get is the basics. There's not a lot about what your philosophy. You have to come up with this yourself. And I was fortunate that before I became a trainer, I was managing a gym, so I was seeing people and talking to people and seeing. And when I started, Doc, it was I knew that it was going to be something for life, that you can't get in and out. That's why I don't like the term diet, because if you're on a diet, then you're going to be off a diet. How about we just eat healthy every single day? That's my diet. I try to eat healthy when I can. So that's what kind of started this. The idea of tracking every workout, I think it's good at the beginning for some people, and some people need that for encouragement. Some people that unless they see their numbers going up, I did this 8 times last week. Now I did it 10. Now I did it 12. You see that you see it in front of you, but in the long run, and I'm in it for the long run, you will never maintain your pace. So then it just becomes, oh, I used to do this. Oh, I used to be able to do that. Guess what? I don't want to hear it. I'm here today. Let's do what we can do today. when clients start telling me about all the things that they used to be able to do, that's long gone. That's long gone. Let's move forward. Let's move.
Banks,
What can you do tomorrow?
the idea of you not measuring that stuff or tracking that stuff goes back with your eating philosophy as well. And I learned that from you right away. Anybody who comes to see you, you're big on, listen, this is a lifestyle. This is a lifetime commitment of doing the right things the majority of the time so that you can enjoy and live your life. And when you get in the habit of exercising all the time, you know you're doing the right things, and you know, and your body will tell you when you can do a little more than you did last time.
That's right. And some most of the benefits of fitness, you actually, it's not always the physical appearance of it, though. That's what most people notice. But you know what? You sleep a little better. Your mood's elevated. You have more energy. All these things that really aren't quantifiable, but or they can be. But that's there's so many benefits that go beyond dropping inches from your waist or lifting a ton of weight. There's so much more. Fitness is about so much more than those things.
Now, one of the age-old question begs is cardio versus weights. And if you look at this picture here on the left side of your screen, you see a young lady and a young man who were they were active people. They did a ton of cardio, and you could see they were fairly slim. And then both of them decided to incorporate weight training and resistance training. And the pictures on your right are both of these, the booty and the body a year later, and you can see the difference. And a lot of people wonder, Beggs, why they can't just do cardio. What's your philosophy on that?
Doc, great question, because, cardio is such a great, we need cardio. We need cardio, but it's also can be very destructive, even if it's, so many runners. I have runners in my family, and, just speaking about them, they were running exclusively. And I'm telling you right now, my older brother cannot run anymore because he ran himself into the ground. And it just, the pounding on your body, and it's such an addicting. There's such a run, there's something called the runner's high, and it's true. When you get back from a run, you don't duplicate. You have a different strength training is a different animal. In the long run, Doc, your strength training is going to be more beneficial. You're getting anaerobic exercise, so it's different than aerobic exercise, but you're still getting your heart rate up. You're still getting those same type of benefits. But by putting more, that's what we lose when we get older, Doc. We're going to lose muscular tone, and it's so important to keep us upright. You know how I feel about the core, Doc. The core is the key to everything. Mr. Pilates had it right. It's the powerhouse. Strengthening the core as we get older, and I'm happy to see it. I'm getting more and more older clients, and I'm talking about in the 60s and 70s now. People know that they're getting weak, and they feel their lives slip it. They can feel it, and I love for them to that type of awareness, and then to come and see a professional. And hopefully I do my best every day to help them. I think I do. And just the final, your answer is, I would say in the long run, your strength training is going to, and look at those two examples there. Cardio is great. In the long run, the strength training is a necessity.
And Beggs, another thing that I loved about with you was, right off the bat, you set me straight. I wanted to come in and I wanted to have a physique that I never had before. And you helped me get that. But you also said to me day one, Doc, it's about functional everyday activities. And, at the time I traveled extensively. I was always on airplanes. And you're like, listen, you're going to get older. You're going to want to have to, go to that overhead bin and get your suitcase that I know you put too much stuff in and it's heavy. And I'll never forget that. And that takes me into the next question that I have for you. Because when I asked you about cardio, I don't want people to think for a minute that you don't incorporate cardio. It's just not an hour of straight running. So I thought it'd be good, Beggs. I used to come see you, and we would do 45-minute sessions. And for anybody who doesn't know, I loved what Beggs helped me accomplish so much. I had some Body by Beggs t-shirts made up. And that's what that is. But Beggs, so I'd come see you for about 45 minutes. Can you take everybody through the myriad of exercises, or maybe give them a sense of what that 45 minutes consisted of?
Yep. Yes, I can. And Doc, how many of the same routines did we do in the 100 sessions? Did we ever do the exact same thing 2 times in a row?
We didn't. And what we would do, though, we would hit the same muscles in different ways every time. And, variety is the spice of life. And I love that.
So Doc, the way to do it and the way that I train, and it's different than a lot of the younger trainers today, and a lot of people, the bodybuilder trainers, they swear by body part sessions. So Monday is chest day, Tuesday is back day, Wednesday is legs, Thursday is shoulders, Friday is arms, and that's how they roll. But I don't believe in that. That's for a younger, that works. It's effective. And if you want to build muscle, it's a great way to do it. I don't want to discount that. But I like to do full body workouts. I like hitting every single muscle in every session we do. And the sequence of exercises is important. So to me, the core is the most important thing, Doc. So when we started, and it's all about energy levels. At the beginning of the workout, we have our most energy. So let's attack the most crucial point, by my estimation, the core, while you're freshest. So I started every session with a core exercise. And in fact, and there's no science to this, but it was just related to the 45 minutes. I know how long it takes to do things. So I basically, I like to do three different exercises that target different parts of the core. So one could be your lower abs, your upper abs, and then the sides, the obliques. So that's funny. Sorry, I read something. Then I would, so then you want to go to the biggest muscle part. So then after the core, I would attack your legs. And then the other larger muscle groups would be your chest and your back. And then we would finish each session by going to the smaller muscle groups, which had already got a lot of work, because we're getting the arms and the shoulders and a lot of those chest and back exercises. But that's how we would finish every session, with three different exercises for your biceps, triceps, and then 3 different exercises for your shoulders. So I would always come to every workout with an outline, and then depending on how I saw you working and what I thought we wanted to do, I would change individual exercises and swap them out. So we were always being challenged and never knowing what was going to come next.
Beggs, honest to God, one of the best feelings of accomplishment I ever had was when I finished one of those 100 sessions with you. I never worked so hard in my life. Sometimes you would have me finish up where I'd be like on all fours with the Frisbees underneath me, and you'd have me sliding across the room to the wall and back like 25 times. I mean, I thought I was going to die. And you're like, come on, Doc, you could do it. It was just great. All right, so my next question for you, Beggs, is a lot of people, women want to do away with their muffin top or their bat wings, and men want to get rid of that beer belly or their double chin. Should people be focusing on a specific area of their body like that, or should they just worry about the whole body as kind of one entity?
Yeah, Doc, there's no such thing. You can't, just like you didn't try to put the weight on there, you can't take it off from there. It doesn't work like that. You can emphasize certain parts of your body, okay? But again, remember this, Doc, if you want to lose weight, it's not coming from sit-ups. This doesn't make you lose weight. Your diet's going to make you lose weight, okay? Just because you'll have muscle under your fat. That's what sit-ups will give you. So anybody who's still under the impression that I can, get thinner just by doing strength training exercises, well, that isn't how it works. You don't get thinner, that's coming from your diet. You'll burn more, The thing about strength training is, Doc, that once the workout's over, and that's what Orange Theory, everybody's heard this Orange Theory. Orange Theory is that if we're working our body at a certain intensity, it's called the fat burning level, and they color code them. So when you're in the fat burning level, you're at the orange. So what their belief, and I believe it, is that after your strength training, that when you're done and you're sitting down, you're enjoying your protein shake, well, now your body's processing everything that you've just done, and that carries on not for several hours, especially if you work out in the morning. And I would always encourage people, if you can do a morning workout, then you get the benefits all day. Some people can't do it. I understand that. Everybody's different. But I do believe you get more benefits from working out in the morning rather than at night when your body's going to be starting to shut down. You're kind of working against your natural rhythms of your body. And that I learned myself, that if I get so pumped up in my workouts, Doc, my adrenaline's going, I can't sleep at night. So, if I'm going to work out, it's going to be in the morning or midday.
We had a couple of viewers who were going to ask that question, so I'm glad you answered it. Let me ask you this, Beggs. When somebody starts a new routine, we all want to see some results. How soon do you think it's feasible that somebody who has neglected their health for a while and they start exercising and eating right, how soon should they start to see results? Because I'm a big believer that when you see results, it kind of manifests itself, and then you want to start to see more, and it kind of gets you into that flow. But if it takes too long to see them, you may just give up.
And Doc, it's a big problem, because it does take a long time. And that's why I'd rather people not focus on whatever the visual is or even like what the ultimate goal is. Focus on tomorrow. Focus on what you have to do to get to where you want to be. It's just it takes so long. So the answer to your question is, I would say, it's close to 6 months if you're exercising regularly before you actually see a physical change. It will take you close to 6 months, and it could take longer. But the truth of the matter is, within 2 weeks of exercising regularly, and I would say at the beginning, you definitely want to take a day off in between, 1 or maybe 2 days to recuperate if you're pushing yourself hard enough. Then there's things that occur. These are the things I was telling you, Doc. You could have more energy. You could be sleeping a little better. You could, you could feel a little more strength, a little more comfortable when you're picking up your kid, or moving a little bit more freely. There's a lot of flexibility in my workouts and stuff like that are more than about, it's about making you feel better in your daily routine, just not so tight. That's, it's another, I don't want to go off track of this question, but stretching and flexibility underrated in my book. And especially as we get older, those are things we should be also incorporating in our fitness routines.
Yeah, I wasn't big on the stretching. You used to let me know about it. Beggs, another thing was, I used to ask you all the time, and maybe it's because you pushed me, but I used to come in and ask you, Beggs, isn't it supposed to start getting easier after a while? Because it was just harder every time. Is that because you were just pushing me harder?
Absolutely. So as a trainer, Doc, I'm always trying to match whatever your energy level is, and I have to be a little bit above you. So I can't motivate you if I come in all sleepy-eyed, right? How am I going? Right. I got to be at your level, maybe a little bit higher, and that's always what I strive to be. I want to be motivating you. I want you to feel that energy that's coming from it's coming from me in the way. And so as soon as I start seeing you getting good, I'm going to change it and make sure it's going to be hard. So it's a challenge, and that's what you were looking for anyway.
That was my next question to you, Beggs. How do you keep clients motivated? And for the folks out there that don't have a trainer, how can they keep themselves motivated to stay fit and even to put that workout in? You talked about the commitment and the discipline. I think the people that really have the best bodies and are the healthiest are the ones that do it when they don't feel like doing it.
That's Doc. That is, everybody can exercise when they feel like it, right? That's when you do it, when you feel like it. So it is, and so it's those times where you're like, oh man, I can't believe it. I got this boxed out. I'm so tired. I had a horrible morning. All those things that could interfere, and then you go and do it. When you get out of that, Doc, that could be your best work. That could be one of the best workouts you have. Precisely because you overcame that that deterrent, that feeling inside. And I experienced that. I'm not a big runner. Okay. But I understand the importance of that. And I also like to challenge myself. So, a couple years ago, I signed up for a 5K race. I ran the Great Race in Pittsburgh, and I don't run. So I thought, I got to get out there and start and putting some miles in. And it took me probably 3 weeks before I could get up to 5 miles to do a five. I mean, I remember when I did it, and it was such a great feeling that I knew I was getting, I was reaching my goal, and then it was going to be more about just increasing my speed. But what that experience taught me was, and a new respect that I had for runners was that how many times during a course of a run could you say, oh man, I could stop right here. I could stop right here. And it must have happened on that 5 mile run 25 times. And I just kept on, no, you can't stop. Keep going, keep going. And by overcoming it, and then it just becomes, you just put those negative thoughts, they decrease. And the next thing you know, and hopefully you can reach this type of, and this is what I hope for all my clients and for everybody, is that you just enjoy it. That's the other thing about tracking, keeping how fast am I going, whatever. You ever just go out and just jog just to do it and not worry about, I got something, I got to get back. I got to, take the dog out, whatever the life, but just go out and enjoy exercise without constraint. And that's so liberating. I think it's hard to get to, but once you can get there, you'll know what I'm talking about and you'll appreciate it.
Beggs, I feel like the push-up is damn near the closest thing to the perfect exercise. What do you think?
Yes. Doc, so underrated. No equipment. You get down, you do this, and like I told you, you can make incredible gains in a very short period of time. But you're absolutely right. And Doc, I'll give you a couple other things. So the only limit, if there's one downside to the push-up, so let's start with that. It's only that you're limited by your body weight as a form of resistance. So however heavy you are, that's all you got to work with. Now you could put something on your back, there's ways to overload it. You could continue that way, or you just do more push-ups. And I like that too. So that's the only drawback, is that it's tough to overload. But let's get into all the positives. And you mentioned them. You're working your chest, you're working your arms, and believe it or not, you're really working your core. What you are, when you're in the high push-up position, that's also the high plank position. So you're holding a core exercise every time for at least a second. It's really good. So if you're doing 30 push-ups, where you're actually getting 30 seconds of plank as well, on top of everything else you're doing. And the last thing the one benefit that the push-up will give you that the bench press or anything where you're on your back pushing something off of you is something called shoulder stabilization. And for anybody who's ever had a painful shoulder, it's excruciating and it takes forever to heal. So this concept of shoulder stability, we want to have stability in our shoulder because it's such a dynamic joint that we have to maintain the stability. Once you lose that, and I'm telling you, there's people watching. I know how many people out there have shoulder problems, and it's just so painful. And so one of the ways that you can really help eliminate a lot of those problems is by doing push-ups and adding shoulder stability into your workout, where you're not getting that if you just go to the gym and do heavy bench presses. You're not going to get that type of, you're probably doing more damage depending on where you're lifting the bar, the tracking of the bar, where it's going. A lot of people are really bringing up too high, and you're not even targeting your chest anymore. So you got to be careful on your incline presses, and that's where form comes in. You could be working really hard, but just damaging your body if you're not using proper form.
Well, I wanted to ask you a little bit about injury and pain. We hear football coaches talk about there's a difference between a player being injured and somebody who's just working through some pain, or in the gym, discomfort. And I know you and I used to talk about that, Beggs, because, we would be doing certain things with biceps and triceps, and I would get a little bit of an elbow pain. And, I know you would try to decipher, is this real pain, or is it, is it an injury, or is it pain? Talk a little bit about that.
Yeah. So that's exactly right. Doc, Nike came out with the slogan, no, or it wasn't even Nike, but no gain, no pain, no gain. And it's a horrible thing. It's just, you know, what they want is to encourage you to push through when things get tough. And that's really the ideal that you want. But pain is an end. If you're doing an exercise and you're experiencing pain, you have to stop. You have to stop. Because there's other exercises that you can do that won't cause you pain. And so it's just knowing that, and that's one of the things that a trainer would do for you is if you give you another way to do something.
Right.
But the discomfort, Doc, that's the way to think about it. If you just, if you just do enough push-ups where you're not really exerting yourself, well, you're not going to make any gains. So the idea of discomfort, you have to challenge yourself every single workout. And that's not to say, when I say challenge yourself, and this is my philosophy, and I use it with you as well. Those last 2 reps need to be very difficult. You should struggle. And it's okay if you lose your form knowingly for those last few reps. If you start out with poor form and just continue and you're straining and you're suffering right from the get-go, that's not good. That's not smart. That weight's too heavy for you. You need to find the weight where you can maintain your form to a certain rep count, and then it starts to deteriorate, and that's actually where you're going to make your gains right there. Those last 2-3 reps where you're feeling some discomfort, not pain, and it's a real challenge. That's the way you want to train. If you do that on every exercise, make sure those last 2 are tough, and do enough reps to make sure you're getting those last 2 tough reps. You'll see progress.
And I can vouch for that. And I remember, Beggs, on my last couple reps, you're like, Doc, I want to see the fight, or you would tell me, I love the fight. It was all about the fight. And, I know there were times where like, I can't do another one. And you're like, I don't care if the form sucks. One more, Doc. And it was about the fight. And part of that, it helps train your mindset. It helps train your mind that you got to get one more, even if the form sucks on the last one.
Doc, that's it. And you just hit on the biggest thing. Everything's in your mind. This whole fitness is all in the mind. Everything's in your mind. It's such a power. The mind's so powerful. You'll do things that your body will say no. Your brain says let's do it, and you'll do it. So know that it's a very powerful. The brain is powerful. When you're telling yourself no, say yes. Say yes. Go for it.
Beggs, I know the first couple times I was in the gym with you, and there'd be some other big dudes in there, and I'm looking around, and you got me benching, I don't know, $135, if that, and these dudes are putting up, 290, 300, 310, and I'm kind of like, how often do you see people competing with other people in the gym that may be 20 years younger or maybe got a 20-year head start? Do you see that in the gym all the time?
I think it happens, but the funny thing about this, and I've seen cartoons of it, when you see these real big bodybuilders in the gym, and so what they see in themselves is completely different. When they see like somebody like myself who's not that big, but I would say I'm athletic, and there are some things that I can do that they couldn't do. It's the same way that they can do things that I can't do. So the funny part is that they're looking at me and say, boy, I wish maybe I was a little more like him. And then here I am saying, well, I wish I was a little bigger like that. So right. I think it works both. I think it kind of works both ways. And the gym is such a vain place. The mirrors are there. I'm certain it goes on, but if you're in a good gym, people are into that. I think really, and I think the fitness where I work is the Fitness Factory's. I mean, to me, I think it's the best gym in the city for sure. And the people who train there are really, they're working on themselves. I don't think it's a lot of competition. I think everybody's doing their thing, and though I think I'm sure it occurs, but I don't think it's that prominent. I don't think.
How can you tell when a client of yours is giving their best effort, and how can you tell when they're just mailing it in?
It's easy, Doc. That's Um, I've been doing it for 20 years, so I know, you can't fool me. I know how much effort you're doing. It's just from, just a train, somebody, just the same way anybody else who does something for a long time knows exactly, a cook knows when the hamburger's overdone.
Right.
You know what I mean? Whatever your specialty is, you get good at it, and you see things that the average person wouldn't be seeing.
All
So
right. So just a
so I know.
couple more questions for you, Beggs, as we start to wind down here. If somebody is looking to hire a personal trainer, what are some of the questions that they should be asking before they decide who to go with?
Oh, wow, Doc, because I'm coming from the other side. So and honestly, you know, I, it has to be so this is what I'll say about that. It has to be a good match. Um, it's and that's I'm a personal trainer, Doc. I really don't like to do group classes, right? I like the one-on-one. To me, that's what it is. A personal trainer is somebody who you're vulnerable with them. You're coming in. The women who come to see me, they're not in makeup. They're in their most raw. Um, Oftentimes, if I train somebody, I'm seeing them more times in the week than they're seeing their kids or their other loved ones. I'm such I play such a major role in their lives. They've set that time aside. I want to make sure that I'm providing the service that they need, and so it's a relationship, and that's what I tell young trainers who ask me about it. Learn to develop your relationships. It's the same thing in sales, right, Doc? It's
Absolutely.
relationships. So you have to like your trainer. When I this Biggest Loser and that Jillian, that style of training, I just don't, yelling at people and that. I mean, for some people get motivated by that, I guess, but that's not for me. I don't think that's. I'm all about building the person up, making them, giving them confidence, and I want them to feel like they can achieve. I don't break them down. They're broken down. That's why they came to see you. They don't need you shouting in their face and that's. So I just think it. But if that works for you, then that's the
Right.
person for you. Bobby Knight was a great coach. Now, not everybody wants their kids to be coached that way.
Beggs, besides coming to see you, which I would vouch for 1,000%, what
Thank
is
you.
the one best piece of advice that you can give to someone who has made the decision to get in the best shape of their life?
The best advice I can give is what I say. I say it all the time. You're in it for the long haul. Don't get caught in the minutia. Don't worry about what you did today, what you did yesterday, or even what you're going to do tomorrow. Every day is not going to be your best day. So, evaluate yourself. This is what I encourage. Like right before the workout, I like to do my warm up stock. Those warm ups that I do during those first 5 minutes. Say, how was your day? How am I going to do this workout? Is this going to be a workout where I just want to get through it because I had a horrible day? Or is this one where I'm ready to go and I want to hit it? So I think, that's my advice. Evaluate yourself before the workout and determine what type of workout it's going to be for you, knowing that every day is not going to be your best day.
Beggs, I know that you are almost at capacity, but if there's somebody out there that wants to reach out to see if the two of you can form a personal trainer client relationship, how can they get a hold of you?
The best way for me, I'm with clients all day, so it's not, I'm not often answering my phone. If you go to the fitnessfactory.com, I think it's fitnessfactory.pgh.com, or fitnessfactorypgh.com. I don't know if you can put that on the screen, Doc. That they have on there a little bio of me, and it has my contact information. That's the best way. I would say, if you're going to reach out to me, email's the best way, and I'll get back to you as soon as I can. But again, when I'm during the course of my day, I'm 100% devoted to my clients. I'm not one of these trainers who has their phone out looking at their phone. My phone's not with me when I'm training. The only time I'm looking at my phone is in the 15 minutes when I'm commuting in between locations. So I don't have I just don't have time to answer questions or whatnot generally during the course of the day. But when I get home, if there's an email for me, I will always respond to every request. I am in a fortunate situation where I don't have a lot of openings, but if I can help somebody and we can find a day and a time that does coordinate with our schedules, then by all means, I want to help you. That's why I got in this business. I like to help people, and if I can do it, I'm going to make time for you. I'm going to find a time for you.
PGHFitnessFactory.com. That's how you can find Brendan. Brendan, you have been awesome, my man. I appreciate it. I miss our workouts. I am going to put you in the virtual green room. Don't go anywhere. Okay. I want to tell everybody what I got going on here next week, and then I want to chat with you for a few minutes after the show, Beggs. My man.
Thank you. Thanks, everybody.
Beggs is the best. Hey, listen, next week is the last show prior to the election, and it is Doc's Town Hall. Who are you voting for and why? And really, this show is all about you. I want to highlight opinions from people we all know, some famous people, but mostly our viewers. So I'm going to ask each of you that are watching this show, whether you're watching live or on the rebroadcast, to please send me a 30-second to 2-minute selfie video. Who are you voting for and why are you voting for them? I will get every single one of those on the show. If you're a little shy with going on video, then you can send me a text or a private message, and I will also post a link during the show to invite a few people to come on. But I really would like for a bunch of you to send me short 30-second to 2-minute video. Who are you voting for and why? And really talk about why you're voting for that guy, and don't just hammer the other guy. But I'm not going to tell you what to say. You guys have been a great audience tonight. I'll try to drink more water next time so I don't have another choking episode. But I enjoyed the show immensely. Beggs is the best. We'll see you next week. Peace!